Right, good afternoon. Well, good morning, my friends. We're about 30 minutes from 12 o'clock. Now, a few days ago, I made a video specifically talking about why I was bothering to get into shape. It wasn't just because I felt it was a necessary change, or if I don't start actually trying to lose excess amount of weight, or try to get oblique abs and V-cut abs and whatnot. If I didn't start doing it now, then there literally never would be a time, or at least none that I could think of, that this would happen. So it's not just that I'm going for. It's because yesterday, for the second time in 6 years, I applied for the British Army. In fact, in about 1 hour's time, I'm supposed to be having a call with somebody from recruitment. It's not the recruitment officer, but I am actually meant to be having a call with someone from recruiting about why I wanted to apply, and among many other things. You know what I actually selected? Because they give you about 3 options in terms of where do you see yourself and what do you want to actually do to serve king and country. My very first choice was to actually be as a paratrooper. Now, it's not just because this sounded like the absolute best option. I know fine well what the paratroopers do, and some of their work is absolutely hardcore. And you know what? Personally, I feel I feel a little bit hardcore sometimes. Sometimes I feel like, you know what? Because physically it is the most demanding and one of the most stress-inducing parts of the British Army. The only thing I could think to myself right now, you know what? I can still do it. I still have. I don't have. Time is not on my side, but you know what? This literally might be my very last chance to actually try to work for the armed services. I even tried 3 years ago to be a part of the British Navy, but for some reason, once I had my first call with the recruitment officer, I don't recall my application ever being denied. I just didn't really hear anything back. I'm sure I must have a document somewhere about that in my emails and stuff like that, about what exactly they were going to do with my application going forward, but I've just not heard from them ever since. Meanwhile, getting back to the British Army, yes, like I said, maybe even 5 years ago, I would have been at 22. I would have been considered too old to be a part of it. However, I don't feel it's not. I don't think a age right now for me is just a number. It's about whether I can do it in here as well as out here is what matters. It's going to be daunting, and I imagine there's going to be some very, very harsh truths, probably even harsher than it was the first time around. Because when I applied for the army the very first time, it was literally the very next day after I left university, because all I wanted to do was to get out there, to get out into the real world, to actually do something important for and in the real world. And you know what? I feel like once again I've come to a bit of a crossroads in my life where I can continue going down the road I'm going down right now, which might work in the long run, but it is a very, very long road. And it's not exactly confirmed, yes or no, whether or not there are going to be a few minefields along this road. So I would still have to be extra cautious with every step I take, or I could go down a different road in which, you know what, if the moment of truth is now, then it's time for you to start being truthful and time to start coming out and showing the world who you really are. That's the sort of dilemma I see myself right now. What would you do, guys? Would you go down a road that seemed safe at first? There are going to be disasters and tragedies along the way, no doubt, but it's one that doesn't mean you'll be succumbing to the 1,000-yard stare anytime soon. Or I could stare the 1,000-yard stare directly in the face and fight back hard. Because even yesterday when I was applying for it was not exactly a time to be dishonest with myself. And I'm certainly not going to do that. Neither am I going to do that when I'm talking to the recruitment officers, because This is not the time to be honest, and not the time to be dishonest, I should say. And if honesty is what they want, then honesty is what they're going to get. I've been around the block, and I've been alive for 27 years. I've seen plenty of shit, and I've been through plenty of shit in my time. If the only thing that if I quit now, or if I just give in, or just go down the other road, or just turn back and go back the way I came, then I've literally just taken all this shit in my life for nothing. Now's the time to fight. Now's the time to do something. And I think the time is now. Thank you.